We got lucky in the last episode from narrowly missing big losses from a tornado, and also completely planted and improved our 3 largest fields with canola. Now, it's time to make some money and start building up some cash to buy our largest field yet, and get a little primer on carrot harvesters. We've been storing up goat milk since about last January, and now it's time to sell. We'll get all our goat milk pallets loaded, and these should bring in quite a lot of money at the local dairy. Of the investments on the farm, the goats have been spectacular. After the initial cost of the pastures and goats, it's only required a bale or 2 of grass during the winter months and a quick chore of fetching water for the smaller enclosures. The only additional work they require is loading and selling their milk, which, even in hard mode, sells for an impressive $3,000 or more. We'll finish loading and take them to market. This should be a nice boost. About 18,500 liters, and the flatbed we bought keeps showing to be a good purchase. We'll pull here into the dairy and quickly check the price. $3,079. And it says the price is or will be falling soon, but we really don't have much else to do here in September, so we'll just wait a bit and see what direction the price goes. We waited about 6 hours, and the price has gone up about $50 a pallet. Let's continue to hang out at the dairy and see what happens. Okay, we waited from about noon till nearly midnight, around 12 hours, and the price is just now starting to go down. Let's see what we get. $58,400. That's really good money in hard mode. Our patience to sell also increased the profit by a little over $1,300. Not bad for just watching the market. It's absolutely pouring rain as we head back home on the ferry, and like I said before, selling the goat milk is all we really needed to do. So we'll stay dry in the tractor and wait for morning. Hopefully, the rain will have stopped. It's early October, and the carrots are coming along. They'll be ready to harvest next month. As far as selling, we've also got silage to sell as soon as it finishes fermenting, but it looks like it'll be a few hours yet. So, while we wait, we'll do as much work on the grass fields as we can. October is the last month of the year we'll be collecting grass for silage, so whatever we get is all we'll get, until the next cutting in April, 6 months from now. We've made the grass work about as efficient as we can affordably make it, and we've worked a lot of grass in this series. The difference this time is the reduced yield from the tornado. It cut right across the middle of this field and a fair chunk of the other one over by the small grain mill, so that'll certainly cut into the profits. I have a plan though. What I'll try to do to offset that loss is cut a lot more grass around the edges of the fields and try to make up for the lost bales. The grass around the edges is lower quality grass and doesn't yield as much as what we plant and fertilize, but it does produce a surprising amount. So we'll get everything cut and baled, maybe use the worker a little, reset the bale counter, and see what we get. All right, the extra cutting around the edges really helped. We got 41 bales, pretty much what we usually get just cutting the primary grass in the actual fields. We'll pop the baler back into what I'll now probably start to call the grass shed and keep rolling with the New Holland to clear all the bales. It's nice when we're able to sell the prior log of silage before making a new one, but it still has several hours to go. We'll also pick up a little more than 41 bales because there were 2 we forgot to pick up the last time up by the canola. More is always welcome. All right, those are deposited. Time to pull out the Anderson and do the wrapping. We'll knock this out in a quick time lapse and try to keep our silage in a nice straight line. Two big lines of silage. It's a beautiful sight to see. And when they're both sold, they should bring in around $75,000. That'll be a great boost toward our goal for a new super big field that'll cost right around $320,000. That's the goal anyway. If we're able to afford that big expensive field before planting season next year, there's a chance it'll produce all the product to keep our oil mill completely satisfied for the entire year. Having enough land and produce to fully satisfy the oil mill is one of the primary end goals of this series. There's a few others that I'll probably talk about in the next video or so, but this ability to fully satisfy the big oil mill has been a major challenge. What I'd also like to see in satisfying that goal is to have a mixture of canola and sunflowers as the products going into the mill. We'll have to buy a different header for the combine to harvest the sunflowers, but that's just all part of the challenge. And I really like the idea of having a variety of products going into the mill. For now, we'll finish the grass rolling, then do a little tidying up of the ravaged trees the tornado left behind. We should be able to sell them for at least a little money. All right, the roller can get stored, and while the New Holland is all warmed up, we'll get right to those trees. I think what I'll try to do is fell what's left of the tree right into the trailer. There's a 50-50 chance we'll mess this up, but we'll give it a try. Not bad. I think if we get the John Deere's log grab attached, we can just move it a little and get it situated. It's better. With a little ingenuity here, we can hold down the top end and get a strap on the bottom. There. Perfect. Let's do the other two. Hopefully, they'll be just as easy. Our tree felling skills didn't let us down, and the paper mill is offering the best price. We haven't visited the paper mill in a while, so let's get down there and see what a ravaged tree is worth. $5,000. That's quite honestly much better than I thought. I was figuring they'd be around $700 each and only give about $2,100 total, so $5,000 is way better. More than double. I had a viewer comment that the ravaged trees were actually bigger than the untouched pines. It seems in the game they have just one general ravaged tree that is substituted for any tree that gets damaged like that. Oaks, pines, birch, whatever. So there might even be cases where a tornado-damaged tree is worth more than the tree it came from. We waited a few hours, and now it's time to sell our silage from the July harvest. The biogas plant is the price winner, so we'll scoop these up and turn them into cash. $35,500 all total. That's fantastic. We'll return the auto stacker to its resting place and put the New Holland into the workshop so we can do a little wrenching on it and get it fully repaired. That's the end of October and a big day of selling, leaving around $139,000 in the account. But that'll change for better or for worse here in November when we harvest the carrots. It's morning. All nice and sunny, though we do need to keep an eye on some coming rain. We don't want to harvest when it's raining. Now, the first thing to look at with harvesting carrots is the actual harvester, because each one works different. They're not just bigger models of the same thing, so you have to choose what you think is best for your situation. First is the P3CL Profi. This little pull-behind harvester harvests a single row at a time and moves at 4 miles per hour. The biggest feature of this one is that it puts the carrots in pallets. You have to buy the pallets separately at about $130, so it does cost extra money, and you'll wind up with a fair bit of pallet handling to move them. But they do at least auto-load onto the harvester, just like baling twine in a baler. The next harvester choice doesn't store them in pallets, but does require you to continuously drive alongside the harvester to overload the carrots into a trailer. It has no hopper for storage, so if the trailer isn't there, it basically stops harvesting. Not ideal. If we had a longer field with straight rows, no obstacles or fencing at the ends, this would be a decent choice. We unfortunately do not have that situation. So with all the turning around the harvester would do at the ends, it would make everything pretty much impossible. So that one's out. Next is the most promising of the bunch. This one moves 50% faster than the other two at 6 miles per hour, and also has a 5,500 liter hopper. The hopper seems like a small difference, but it allows us to let the harvester turn around at the end of the rows, or even lets us go to a silo or sell point with the trailers while an AI worker continues to pick up the carrots. The drawback is obvious. It's more than twice as expensive to buy or rent than the other two. But it's also the best one before going into the massively expensive 4-row harvester. It'll harvest a lot more carrots in a single pass, but what's surprising is that this big harvester doesn't have a hopper either. You'd think something this big and costly would also have a little onboard storage, but it doesn't. So for us, we're going to take our chances and rent the $100,000 model with the hopper. There's more special things to talk about with carrot harvesting beyond just the harvesters, and it's a big job that'll probably take 2 or 3 hours in the next episode. There's also a concern as to whether or not we'll actually make any money, because carrots can be a boon or bust crop. We'll find out in the next one. See you then.